let us introduce the real UFC light heavyweight champion, the lineal champion of the world, the one and only Daniel Cormier. Let's clap it up for the man. There he is, shirtless. How about that, my friend? Congratulations.
I'm just waiting right now. Selena's digging through the bag trying to get me a sponsorship before I get into trouble.
Oh, okay. Well, I like this shirt. I thought, man, living the dream over there. Sponsor, yeah. Who needs a sponsor? Look at that.
Oh, stop. Damn, stop.
Where's the belt?
Oh, you want to? It was right on. It's on my island in the kitchen, next to the rest of my belts, because I was trying to do a picture this morning. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram.
It's fantastic.
It's an unbelievable picture, man. Like I literally was sitting there, and I sent it to my managers, Bob and Dwayne, and I said, guys, we've done pretty good for 5.5 years, and they said that needs to go out to the public. I said, yeah, I'm amazed.
Unbelievable. Very happy for you. Congratulations. I'm wondering right off the bat, what, this has been a very, very, look at the smile on your face. I love it. This is
I can't stop it. I'm trying to be serious, but I cannot stop it right now. I'm seriously trying.
This has been a very intense debate. Is Daniel Cormier the real champion, paper champ? Are you hearing this a lot, or is it other people talking, away from you? Are you getting this from people?
I hear it, man. But you know what, man? I've got some great fans and friends because they defend me. I've said it time and time again that Jon disqualified himself from the competition. He took his name out of the hat. He's not an option anymore right now. Until he gets everything right outside of the octagon, you get to choose who you want to be your champion. You cannot pick Jon Jones. He's disqualified himself from competition. And there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing Anthony could have done about it. We can only compete to the best of our ability for what's available, and that's the UFC Championship. Ariel, I am proud of what I accomplished the other day. I mean, not many people ever get the chance to stand inside of the octagon and wear the UFC title. I'm proud of that.
Let me ask you this. I know you're an intense competitor. In your heart of hearts, will you only truly consider yourself a champion until you beat Jon?
You know what, man? I would love to fight Jon again and hopefully beat Jon. But when they put that belt around my waist, I'm the UFC champion. They don't do that. They don't just give away those titles, man. And they didn't say, here, Daniel, here's your interim title.
Yeah.
They said, Daniel, you are the lineal UFC champion across the board. When we go through the books, as I said in the interview, I said, Ariel Helwani, when you look in the record books, there will be no asterisk next to my name as I'm the UFC champion. There will be no asterisk. There will not be a pause. There will not be a space in between Jon Jones and me as the champion. We will flow just like Jon flowed from Shogun Rua, as Shogun Rua flowed from Lyoto Machida. Machida went from Rashad Evans. There will be nothing different. So in history, it will go down. Back in 95 when the Houston Rockets won the championship.
Yeah.
At the time, everyone said, well, the Rockets aren't the champions because Michael Jordan was playing baseball. So they would have never won if Michael Jordan was still there to play. When we look back at the Rockets now, nobody says, well, it's only because Michael Jordan wasn't playing. They say the Houston Rockets were the back-to-back NBA world champions, thanks in part to the great John Starks.
Come on, man. Come on. I'm trying to be... It was 1 for 18, by the way. It was 1. He made 1.
He made 1.
Yeah.
0 for 18, John Starks. Thank you for shooting the Knicks out of the championship series.
Okay, I'm going to try to be happy for you here, so I'll ignore that. You told me before the fight, you kind of shocked me. You said, I don't really need this. I want it, but I don't need it. I don't need it to complete my life. I have a great family, all that stuff. Now that you want it, do you still feel the same way, or do you think things would have been incomplete without it?
I feel the same way, man. I think that's what actually allowed me to win that fight. I was able to just let go and just go and compete. I'm glad that I talked to Jon when I did, because I was starting to do it again to myself. I was starting to put that pressure of, I have to get this one. I have got to get it done this time. I cannot not win this fight. And I do it to myself over and over and over again. And This time I was actually able to let it go, and it allowed me to just do what I do, and that's just compete.
Is that dipyourcard.com?
I can't find my dipyourcard.com t-shirt, man. I'm screwed.
Well, we'll give them a shout out right here at dipyourcard.com. I see them on everyone.
Dipyourcard.com. How you guys doing? I cannot wait to dip my car.
Okay. So you reached the mountaintop. You've been waiting for this moment your entire MMA career, and the mic is put in front of you for the first time, Joe Rogan. The first thing you think about is Jon Jones. You don't say anything to anyone else. You drop the mic. It's the promo of all promos, one of the greatest, top 3 greatest promos in the history of this sport post-fight. Why in that moment, though, are you thinking about Jon Jones?
Because he beat you. Like Jon beat me, and I just beat the guy that a lot of people thought was going to beat him. So I'm like, you know what, man? I still want to fight him. You know, I want to challenge myself against the best guy. You know, he's good. You know, I think more than anything what Saturday night showed is how special the kid really is if he can get himself and everything else in order. To have beaten me and then for me to do what I did to Anthony Rumble Johnson, that's crazy, man. So, yeah, I want to compete against him. I hope that he does get it together so that we can fight again.
Have you heard through the grapevine at all that he was watching?
I hope he was. Could you imagine him sitting there watching me, of all people, get the belt? Do you know how much that? I mean, if the roles were reversed, I would be going insane if I had to watch him do that. If I was in his situation, you know, I mean, he doesn't want to see me win. He doesn't want to see me carrying what he probably feels is still his title, which it isn't. It's mine. But he doesn't want to see that, you know. And I don't know. Maybe Jon's in so much of a better place now after going through the issues that he has had that he's let everything go. But we'll see, I guess.
A lot of people thought Lorenzo Fertitta was mad at you. He gave you the stare down of death as you walked out. Is that the case?
I think maybe I cussed, so maybe that's what it was. But no, Lorenzo was fine. We actually talked after the fight, texted, and he was very happy. I talked to him on Saturday night after the fight, and I talked to Dana on Sunday. And those guys are extremely happy with my performance. And they're happy that I'm the champion of the UFC. I believe that I will represent this sport in the best light possible. I won't mess it up. I won't get myself in any trouble. I'm going to live my life the correct way, and I'm going to be a champion the kids can look up to and hopefully aspire to be like.
When you spoke to them, did you get any insight into what they want to do with Jon or what they know about Jon or what's next for you? Did you talk at all about that?
You know, man, once I got out of the octagon and I was able to kind of just get back in my environment and start to kind of think about what I had just accomplished, it wasn't really about Jon anymore. You know, I didn't think about Jon anymore. So Lorenzo and I, we talked nothing about Jon. Dana and I talked nothing about Jon. They allowed me to have my moment, which was great, you know, because when a guy does something that he's been chasing for so long, you know, you owe it to him to give him his moment, you know, let him bask in it for a second. Let him, you know, kind of bask in what he had just accomplished. And those guys actually did that for me. These two guys, you know, Dana and Lorenzo are great guys, and they gave me an opportunity, and I took advantage of it, and they told me that they were very happy and proud that I did.
I love the Rogan interview. I love the Bader thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But really, my favorite thing that you said was the story about you and your fiance, Selena, and your parents and siblings pulling together around $500 just to help you survive. So I want to ask you, when was the first time that you thought, wow, UFC champion, that's something I want. That's something I want to be called. Was it before the Olympics? Was it as a youngster in Louisiana? When's the first time you thought that, wow, this is something I want? When did that dream start for you? How long ago?
You know, it wasn't UFC champion. It was to fight in the UFC. I watched Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir, UFC 100. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, this is crazy. If I ever got to compete in something like that, that would be great. When I talk about my parents, you know, it was just tough, you know, because Selena and I were just starting off. You know, we were just starting off. We moved to California, to San Jose, which is very expensive. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
And,
bless you.
Sorry. we wanted to live on our own. We were expecting our first kid, and I would get my cage fighter sponsorship, and our rent was $1,300 a month, and my cage fighter sponsorship was $1,500 a month. But I also taught private wrestling lessons so that I would raise my income to probably about $2,000 a month, and that's how we would live. So it was tough, man, and a couple times we didn't know what to do. Now, when I say welfare, like I mean, we weren't getting like any government checks or anything. We were getting like WIC and stuff like to help buy formula for our kids and everything. And I just want to maybe kind of explain that a little bit better, but we just didn't have, and we were fighting in the best way that we could to try and make our lives together. And now it's kind of working out.
I want to ask you the same question I asked Chris before his fight. Was there ever a point where you were, sleeping next to your fiance, your future fiance? Maybe your kid is now in the world, and you're thinking like, man, I'm just not making enough here. Like I'm the provider for this family, and this is a great dream and all, but how much longer can I do this? Is there a light at the end of this tunnel? Did you ever doubt that this day would come?
You know what? I never did, because she would never allow me to. She knew that it was something I wanted to do. And when I would start saying stuff like, Selena, I've got to get a job. And she's like, no, you don't. You need to train. Continue to get better and improve. And one day it's going to work out, So, and plus my manager, man, like my managers, like if we ever were needed, like we're dire need, they would always come to our aid, At one point, we've had guys that have owed our management team $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 because Dwayne and Bob will just take out of their own pocket to give to you. So now that we're making money, I have no issue writing those guys checks, because when we had nothing, they would actually just pay it. When my sponsorship checks were late sometimes, didn't come on the first of the month, and my rent was due by the third, Dwayne and Bob would write me my sponsorship check at the beginning of the month to make sure my rent was paid. And then they would just wait for the check to come in to get paid whatever time it came in that month. They just made sure that we were always okay.
Wow. What was
there's no company like Zinkin in MMA. These guys, Dwayne doesn't need mixed martial arts. They don't need mixed martial arts to live. Bob's a great businessman. He's done great for himself. They don't need this. They do this because they love their guys. They want to help. And it shows. That's why we're all so fiercely committed to our management team, and you see them having some of the biggest name fighters in the world.
Maybe the highlight of my weekend was meeting your mother, Mrs. Cormier. What a moment that was at the weigh-ins. A lovely lady. What was it like when you showed her the belt? And I also saw, and I want to get your take on what was it like in this moment, I saw your fiance holding the belt right after. Like she was clutching onto that thing like it was, the most prized possession in her life. What was it like when you got to finally look at them and share this with them?
Selena was just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Because reality is, all we've known in terms of UFC champion is Kane. And we've seen what it's done for his life. So she was just like, I can't believe it, And my mom is 73 years old, and she's quiet. And the story of her actually walking up to you was surprising, because it's not something that I would have expected her to do. But then I think about it, I'm like, that's exactly what she would do, because all she watches is Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2 with the hope of seeing me on TV at some point. My mom used to watch the Weather Channel for 10 hours, and she's all, boy, there's some bad weather in Russia. I'm like, what do you care about the weather in Russia, Mom? And then she's like watching the Weather Channel. Then it was CNN, and now all she watches is UFC. She loves Fox Sports 2, and she goes, well, that Ariel Helwani, he's a pretty nice guy. He works with you on UFC tonight. So she saw you, and she went up there, and it was great. Like my dad was probably the proudest. He was just standing there smiling, and my dad's a big old guy that's worked 25 years for the city of Lafayette, doing the baseball fields and cleaning bathrooms and doing all that. And that's a big, burly, hardworking man that doesn't smile very often. But this dude had a smile across his face that it just warmed me inside, man. So showing them and giving that back to them, it meant the world to me.
Did Schwarzenegger make fun of your belly?
He did. He goes, I think I might have saw a 2-pack. I go, well, you'll never see a 2-pack right here. I go, it's fine, though. I said, don't worry about that Belly Schwarzenegger, Governor.
Did he show you love?
He's a great guy, man. Crazy thing is, Arnold Schwarzenegger is very good friends with my manager, with Dwayne Zinkin and his family. So yesterday, I get a call during my travels back from Las Vegas, and it was Dwayne going, dude, I just got a message from Arnold, and he played it, and it was Arnold left a voicemail on Dwayne's house phone, because Dwayne still has a house phone for some reason I can't explain. And Arnold was like, great job, guys. You have the best management team, and awesome for Cormier. What a great guy. Way to really get after it. And Arnold's a great guy, so there are plans for us to all get together for dinner.
And how about this? You're the champ of the world. You reached the mountaintop, a great moment, and yet you had to drive from Las Vegas to San Jose 9 hours because you missed your flight. Is that true?
Ariel, I didn't miss my flight. I made a Selena, be quiet. Don't talk. Selena, don't talk during my interview. 12 hours yesterday it took us to get back from Vegas with two toddlers, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, because Daniel can't read the date when he's booking airline travel. So I booked my family's travel for Sunday, thinking it was Monday, and the UFC moved mine to Monday. But because we're 4, there were no flights coming in from Las Vegas to San Jose one way, San Francisco or Oakland. So we ended up having to pile into a minivan, which, by the way, Selena refuses to drive anyways because she doesn't want to be the mom with the minivan. But we drove 12 hours yesterday from Vegas to Gilroy, and we got home at 12 o'clock in the morning last night.
How much would that drive have sucked if you didn't have the belt with you, right?
If I didn't have the belt, I probably would have just stayed in Vegas. Like, there was no way. We were going to wait probably. Actually, we would have still drove because I wouldn't want to piss Selena off any more than she's already mad at me.
Okay, so what about this Ryan Bader thing? Holy moly. Where did that come from? Where's the animosity? Where's this coming from?
Who, Ryan? Ryan's learning from the Conor McGregor playbook of building a fight. Like, what is up with Bader? Like, I don't mind Ryan Bader thinking he deserves a title shot. I understand. Ryan, due to process of elimination, you're pretty safe, buddy. You don't have to come and interrupt a press conference. I mean, you're the number 5 guy in the world. Rankings are going to shake up on Monday because I just beat the number 1 guy. Things are going to happen. Just wait, Ryan. It will happen for you. But Bader, I don't know if I made Bader mad in New Orleans by just messing with him the whole time, trying to sell the fight, or what. But somehow something switched in Ryan Bader, and he turned into an angry guy and just kind of attacked me at the press conference. I'm just an innocent bystander. I'm just over here trying to hang out. I played no part in that deal. I don't know what's wrong with Bader.
This is my press conference. Get the F out of here.
Thing is with Bader, though, he started since the beginning of the middle of the week. You know, like he's like sending me messages on Twitter for some reason I don't even understand. I'm like, well, Ryan, I've got a fight to get. I've got a fight to get to. So the crazy thing is, I think after I beat Ryan Bader, he should have to go get beat up by Anthony Johnson for being so disrespectful to Anthony Johnson, because he was acting as if I beat Anthony before we even fought. He's calling me out for a title shot. I'm like, hey, I've got to worry about Anthony Johnson. I'm over here worried about Anthony, and you're trying to call me out. That right hand that Anthony Johnson about knocked me out of the octagon with, Ryan Bader would not have gotten up from, and I think that's his punishment for disrespecting Anthony Johnson. He gets to get beat up by me, and then he gets to go and fight Anthony Johnson, and Anthony will beat him up too.
Deep down, are you just like,
what?
Are you just licking your lips? Are you just saying like, oh man, if my first title defense is against Ryan Bader, you called him the easiest fight. Is this a perfect scenario for you?
Well, I don't understand. If Ryan has fought all these guys, the top guys, and he's lost to him, how all of a sudden does he just think miraculously he's going to match up so well against me? What's he going to do? Like, what's he going to do? I understand. Ryan Bader wants to fight for a title. Great for Ryan. I could respect you, Ryan Bader, because you're a wrestler. I'm a wrestler. I could respect you. But now there's no respect because of the way you handled the situation. Bader talked about he wants to kick my ass if Rumble doesn't do it on Saturday. But, I mean, whose ass is he? The thing is, Ryan Bader has done something so phenomenally spectacular. He's got everyone to talk about him. It's unbelievable that Ryan Bader's name is coming off of someone's tongue. Ryan Bader doesn't get it. I saw somewhere today Ryan Bader is actually going on a radio show. I don't think that's ever happened in all this time that Ryan Bader's been fighting, and he did it by interrupting my moment. I mean, good for you, Ryan Bader, I guess. Hey, hats off for Ryan Bader. I don't know. He must be talking to McGregor or something. McGregor's got him. He's the teacher.
So do you think that's next if it's not Jon? Has to be, right?
Again, process of elimination.
Yeah.
If you look at the new rankings that came out today, I'm 1, Anthony's 2, Gustafson's 3. The guy Bader's right behind him. Anthony and Gustafson are coming off of losses. Ryan Bader, you're next, bud. You're going to get exactly what you wanted, exactly what you asked for. I hope you make a good fight of it, because if you don't, you're going to get embarrassed.
And by the way, so now we have this situation where it's probably Bader. I mean, do you feel like this is almost a good thing for the UFC, because now you have all these matchups? You've never fought Gustafson, you never fought Bader. All these guys that Jones already beat. It is actually kind of a fresh coat of paint on the division. Do you feel like you're almost, a good thing for them?
Man, I'm telling you, man, because Jon beat everybody.
Yeah, it's
Jon
weird.
beat everybody.
Yeah.
He messed up the division. He beat everybody. Like, there's like 8 guys. You go when a guy defends his title 8 times against 8 different people, it really throws the division in a tailspin. But now, like you said, I've never fought Gustafson, never fought Teixeira. All these guys are in play now, so we'll see how long Jon's situation takes. And even if he does come back, I win the fight against Jon, I win the rematch, and I can still fight all these new guys.
Last thing, was that the hardest you were ever hit in a fight when he rocked you early?
Man, I've been in a fight, yes. But Ariel, I tell you one thing. This was not a right hand. This was a right missile. It was the fastest thing. It was the fastest punch. I literally was on my feet from the next. I'm like laying on the ground. I saw a picture of the fight. I'm like, oh, I took a nap like Nick Diaz in the middle of the octagon. I'm just kind of laying there like, what am I doing from my feet to the ground so fast? So I try to pop up, and I look behind me. I'm like, oh, my goodness, he's coming back. And then I look behind me, and Anthony Rumble's chasing me, trying to finish me. But my whole deal was, don't allow him to get the follow-up shot. The follow-up shot is what's going to put you out of this fight. He got so excited that I was able to actually take his back. And once I got my hands clasped, I was okay. I wasn't necessarily, like, dizzy, though, Ariel. Like, I fell down, but I wasn't fuzzy. It wasn't like I was seeing 2 of them or any of that. I just got knocked down.
So you then submit him, and then he goes on the mic and says, "Don't quit," which some people kind of laughed. And then he puts the belt on you. What'd you make of him afterwards?
Man, I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what to make of it. He's a nice guy, and I think maybe he showed exactly how nice he is after behaving in the way that he did. A lot of times it's tough. Losing a fight is tough, man. And in your darkest hour, I guess your true colors show. And Anthony Johnson is made of gold, if you ask me, for the way that he handled that. What he did for me on Saturday, Ariel, was he made my experience different. By putting on the belt, he made my experience of being crowned a champion different than anyone else in the UFC's history. Nobody's done that. So thank you, Anthony Johnson, for making my experience different. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you.
Well done, my man. Everything was perfect. I thought the walkout music was perfect. The fight, the post-fight interview, everything. So well done. What do you want to say? Yes.
Very close.
Yes.
I was very close to using "Y'all Must Have Forgot."
Come on, man. Don't say that.
Dude, I was very close to doing it, and guess why? Because going into the fight, it was just weird how much people thought I was gonna lose.
Yeah.
Being that I had only lost one time, and I know it's about. A lot of times it's like your last memory of a person is what sticks in people's mind. But I was like, man, let's not forget I had won 15 straight fights. So more than anything, the reason I used that LL Cool J song was because if you listen to the very beginning of the song, he says, "Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years," which is exactly how I feel. This wasn't a comeback fight for me. I felt like I was going to win this fight, and we have to be a little broader in our opinions and in our perspectives when it comes to fighting. The last memory of Anthony Johnson on Saturday Don't let that change what you feel for Anthony as a fighter. This guy's a phenomenal fighter, and going into his next fight, he shouldn't be considered the underdog or people believe he's going to lose just because of what he did last time. It's all matchups, and I knew that I matched up well against Rumble Johnson.
Great stuff, DC. So happy for you and your family. Congratulations, my friend. An amazing performance. You are the champion of the UFC's light heavyweight division, and you certainly deserve it. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Guys, do yourself a favor. Go to YouTube. Watch UFC 166. Practice walkouts with Adam Geller. It's the funniest video you will ever see in your entire life. Hey, and the Seth Rollins celebration from WrestleMania coming. I am waiting for Ariel Hawani's email.
I gave it to you.
The moment you send the email, I will send you guys the Seth Rollins celebration just like I promised.
You're the man, DC. Thank you.
Thank you.
There he is, a man of his word, Daniel Cormier, the new light heavyweight champion.